Hello and welcome to another video report on the Zwift Racing League presented by WTRL. This week's report is for the Herd of Blazing Bidets taking on Race 2 of Season 3 on the Watopia Beach Island Loop. It's a point sprint race, or as some of you may have liked to call it, the Dirty Steamroller Race. Why would we call it that? Well, this week's course was on the Beach Island Loop, which as you can see from this profile, it didn't feature much by the way of hills or other features, but it's a sprint race, so there was points on offer in this sprint segment here, indicated in green, for those going first across the line or going fastest through the segment. But the trick was, this little climb here is made up of gravel and dirt, and these fun steamroller power-ups were on the course, and they were, as it turned out, a massive advantage going through there and really made the race. So with that little introduction, let's look at how it played out for the Bidets. The roster this week was Kevin Walden, Chris Greenland, Brian O'Connor, Mike Buggy, and myself. Oh, and going around here is Lee Hodgson, who had a trainer drop out and had to finish the race solo for probably 45 or 50% of the race, so well done to Lee for sticking it out solo all the way to the end. So here we go. All the Bidets made the front group on lap 1, so this is just the lead into the gravel section. I've got a drafting boost. I don't think any of us, can't remember if Mike had a steamroller or not, but anyway. That's Mike there on the left, just with me in the front group. I don't know that we're going to see too many else. Here go the steamrollers off the front though. 1, 2, these are the early ones. And the whole herd. Anyone who did this race will be familiar with this scene. My strategy was to send off my drafting boost to try and hold these guys. Here we go. There goes my drafting boost. So I'm just trying to hang on to this group as they all break the race apart here going into the sprint. So I've managed to hold on here to front, give or take, as we go into the sprint. Fortunately, I think the rest of our team, except for Mike, who you're going to see in 1 second, have all fallen off the back of the lead group. And here we go into the sprint. I was pretty much cooked, so I was just trying to get as close to the front as I could. But in 1 second, you're going to see the Mike Buggy rocket ship come through here like insanely fast. There he is. Oh, he had a drafting boost, so yeah, he just raced right through there. So it's just the two of us that are in the group. That actually turned out to be the fastest sprint of the day, so holy smokes, way to go Mike Buggy yet again. Killing all the sprints. Those of you who did the race know that you come through here and there's a little climb that you have to go up. So the race is pretty strung out, but you want to try and gather up the front group. So I'm going to put a little surge in here, and unfortunately I don't notice at the top that, so Mike's in front of me right now. Now the rest of our team is off the back, unfortunately. Right about here, and I didn't notice at the time, I only seen this replay, I'm going past Mike. And if I'd been a little more patient and aware and not pedaling so hard, I might have noticed he was right there and picked him up, but I make the front group. And I know he's just like 1 or 2 seconds back, so I'm just, as we come along here to the next gravel section, I'm trying to sag off the back to try and give him a wheel to get back in the front group. You can see in the list on the right, like he's just 1-2 seconds off this front group. There's riders coming through. So I'm trying to drag him back up to this front group, but you'll see they start getting a little further ahead, and Mike kind of gives me the wave to go because they're not going to make it back on. I'm worried I'm going to fall off the back, so I think right about when we hit the second patch of gravel, I hit the gas again and go. So that was basically the story for lap 1. As I made the front group, Mike had the fastest sprint through. He didn't get in the top 10 for overall fastest through the line, but unfortunately the rest of our guys have fallen off, and they're in the sort of chasing groups at the back, trying to pick off bodies as we go around. Here we are back onto the gravel for lap 2. I'm in a lead group, and lucky for me, I've got a steamroller. So not much to say except for that I'm going to try and stick into this group and see where that takes me. I actually get lucky. I don't think there was as many steamrollers that went off in this second lap as there was in the first one, so I think I actually get pretty close to the front by the time I get through all these. So actually by the time I got to the cobbles, like I'm all the way up to 10th, and that wasn't quite as gas as I'd been in other first lap, and as I assumed it was by the time I came around to the third lap. So I'm like in the top 10, so I've decided I'm gonna try and go for some points on this one for sure as we get through the sprint. I'm not gonna get fast over the segment points because I'm just not strong enough for that, but maybe I can sneak into the top 10 here. So at this point I'm just going to sit in and then try and snake it out again and hope there's not too many people coming behind. So this is what that looked like. So I just managed to sneak in 9th place, picked up 2 points. Man, doing those like 400 or 500 or 600 watts and then trying to hit that sprint was very hard for this race. So I mentioned before that the rest of the team is off the back, but I've never heard of a group of guys who got dropped from a race or having more fun than my teammates in this race. It was just a constant chatter about like planning to pick off the next guys, ride the BOC train, and the whole time it pretty much sounded something kind of like this in my Discord. So actually, the good spirits and the guys cheering you off in the back was actually motivating for me. I hope the other guys were having fun. It sounded like they were having fun. So that was awesome to hear. Now we're back in round 3. I think I didn't get a steamroller. I think in the last sprint I think I had to burn an arrow, and I got one though on the loop lap. So I've got lucky to get a steamroller to be able to try and hold the front group here for lap 3. So once again the steamroller string starts rolling and away I go again with them. I think, yeah, it looks like to me there was a lot more steamrollers in the lap 3, so it was a lot harder to get up into this lead group leading into the sprint. Tough race. So I was like pretty much wiped sitting in 17 on the sprint, and I just decided to sit in and not really contest the sprint. I didn't think I was going to be able to pass 7 of these guys in front of me at this point to look to get points. I knew I wasn't going fast enough to get fastest through after the first 2 laps, so I just tried to hold on and make sure I was in the lead group in case it didn't come back together at the end of the sprint here. So in behind me, what you can't see again because I'm just too tired during the race to manipulate all this stuff, is that Brian, Chris, and Mike had all come together, and they were strategizing how best to maximize the sprint. So in dramatic reenactment fashion, here is what it looked like at the back as Mike and Chris and Brian were plotting out exactly where to set off the lead-in, turn off their steamrollers. Mike was telling Chris exactly to go 200 meters, and they set it all up. And at the end of the day, it actually worked out really good because we managed to get another fastest through. Here's the final results. So you can see that that first lap got most of the fastest through points, including Mike getting the fastest time overall. But then that third lap, those guys coming back, they were in, I can't remember, 70th place or something like that, managed to game up another 7th fastest through lap in order to score 4 more points. So that was awesomely done by my teammates to snag those extra points. I don't know how many other people experienced this on lap 3, but of course anyone who got a steamroller in the final lap, knowing there was no sprints, sent it off on this little gravel segment, and there was a massive attack in my race, so it was all I could do at this point to keep holding on to this attack that went away, although it did all basically come together. I know I might have thrown 3 or 4 guys off the back, but there was still about 25 or 6 of us before we hit the final sprint, which was a lot. It was a big group sprint at the end. Right here, you can see it. At the end of the day, our team finished 13 out of 15. We were 13 out of 15 on race 1, so you know, this is a very, very tough, fast race. Mike Buggy led us in points. I had the second most points, but everybody finished the race. This is a fast group, fast race, and it was tough. I think if we had a couple more steamrollers, maybe in that first group we could have done, but had fun. Good job to all my teammates. Thanks, Bidets, and we will see you all next